Good evening.
Hello, hello.
Hi. How's it going?
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm
John.
Ellen.
John, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
We've got time. Let's go. Calling to order the meeting of the Parks Commission for July 21st, 2025. There you go. Before we call Pledge Allegiance, make sure everybody met Giovanni, our newest member. If you didn't do it before, please say hello to him. And now to the bulk of the meeting. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First thing we're going to do is look at the agenda. Does anyone have any comments on the agenda? Things added, subtracted, mistakes, anything there? Can I get a motion then to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the agenda for tonight, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, minutes. And as Adams told me, this is just 2 out of the 3 months we're waiting for. So we're waiting still for the June minutes. This is April 21st, 2025, and May 19th, 2025. Let's start out with the 21st of April. Any comments on the 21st of April's meeting minutes? For those of you who weren't here, well, it's fine, but for the people who were here, any comments? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the minutes of April 21st, 2025?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from April 1st, 2025.
Do I get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any negatives? Nays? All right, so April 21st is approved. Now we move on to May 19th. Comments? All right, hearing no comments, can I get a motion to approve the May 19th, 2025 Parks Commission minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of May 19th, 2025.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of approving the minutes from May 19th, 2025, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Chair, I'd like to abstain as I wasn't present.
That is fine. Thank you. All right, next, we're on to public comment. No public comment, so we're going on to the Lions Park Pavilion. Microphone, is it working? Microphone. Okay, all right. Sounds about the same. Hard to tell.
Sing us a song.
Try that.
Okay,
There we go,
good.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As part of the 2025 through 2034, the CIP, commissioners recommend installing 5 new pavilions within the city over the next 5 years within our park system. Recommendations for these pavilions came after the Public Works Department had removed a number of trees throughout our parks due to storm damage, emerald ash borer infections, and also oak wilt. Placement of these pavilions will not only provide shade, but also provide a place for visitors to congregate, sit while visiting the park. The city currently has pavilions at Pebble Park, Goose Park, Carriage Station, and Ivywood. All but one of them, those structures are made of steel structure and have little or no maintenance, and that's what our Public Works prefers on those. Issue before the Parks Commission tonight is, would the Parks Commission like to install a shade structure or a pavilion at the Lions Park in 2026 and provide a priority listing for the remaining pavilions? So, over the last several months, we've talked about this, when we're reviewing our CIP as a staff, is we've just kind of put a placeholder in for the next 5 years for those items. So, they would like to have a name or where those are going to be located in the next 5 years, so we can kind of plan for that accordingly, because just with a park pavilion laying out there, it doesn't really jive with our system well. So they'd like to have a name, a park name with that pavilion, and we've really addressed, I think, 5 good parks that we've already seen through our park visits that would accommodate those. And one of those that we haven't addressed yet is Lions Park, and that's one park that the staff has discussed over the last few months with a number of construction items going on there in the next 2 years. And that's one of our biggest, probably requests down at Lions Park is shade. At the construction of that park in 2017, they redid the pickleball courts, the new ball field, and just the parking lots in general. We lost some large trees in there. There used to be an old house on the north end of that. Used to be some large cottonwood trees there, lost a lot of shade when they redid that. So that's probably one of the biggest requests that we get over the years is additional shade there. In lieu of that, the Parks Department did plant a number of trees throughout Lions Park, not only on the backside of the ball field, but also in the outfield near the playground as well. As staff continue to discuss that, we do have the playground replacement that we'll talk about tonight a little bit, that is scheduled for 2026. We also have the pickleball courts that is scheduled for 2026. That's the surface replacement. We did discuss in there too, in 2027, we do have the concession stands that we're looking at redoing. With the tail of that, the parking lots and the trail system that ties that all together. So the staff has asked, or coming forward now to ask the Parks Commission if we're looking if Lions Park is a good idea to put a shade structure there or a pavilion, now would be the time to do it, versus coming back potentially in 2 years or a third year to close down the park to make that happen. In doing so, this will kind of again make this one construction project. We can tool all these small projects together, and then have little impact on the park in the next several years. Financially, at this point, no financial obligations are being asked of right now. The cost of a pavilion, we are looking at that. I think are the ones that are similar to Goose Lake and Pebble Park. We're around that $80,000. That included the concrete and the pavilion itself. Will we have that much room for a pavilion of that size in the location? Really just depends on the location where we put it and how we kind of design that. So again, at this point, no financial obligations are being sought. It's just a request for staff to maybe look at some different designs and proposals for placement for that. So with that, I'll back over to Hank to further discuss this. Staff is looking for a recommendation, and that recommendation would be for staff to seek proposals for that, but again, that'd be up to you.
All right, commissioners, now is your chance to ask questions. So go ahead.
I guess a question that I have is, this bleeds into the next agenda item. But in terms of thinking of shade structures, would you be thinking that if you seek proposals for a pavilion, that you would additionally still be looking for maybe some shade structures with a new playground, or are those kind of, if you do one, you want to do the other?
No, I think they go hand in hand, right?
Okay.
So I think, yeah, it's all based on the design of the playground. I mean, if that's something that we want to incorporate we did do one at DeMontreville with the shade structure, right? Just because of the lack of trees there, we're open to that as well. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Has there been any thought to, I was out there yesterday, and there was people using the pickleball courts and some people on the playground. Are you thinking that the container of the playground is gonna be used similarly to where it is now? And is there a possibility for joint shade either with the playground and the pickleball? Cause there's really no shade over there at all.
Right.
So just in terms of layout, I guess, of the entire park.
Yeah, so currently, for cost reasons, we are looking at the shell of the playground to be about the same size. We'll probably talk about that a little in our next topic as well. Is, to save costs is not to change the concrete border and keep that shell the same. And use that open space where that water and that merry-go-round is for that shelter or possibly that shade structure area.
Question, has there been any discussion about eliminating the baseball field at Lions Park, considering the fact that we're building a new complex at some period of time?
There is not.
Okay. Should there be a discussion about that?
No, I think we have had smaller conversations in regards to it. I think it will still get used. I think baseball is still going to be a community-wide a sport within this community that I think other associations that aren't using the ball fields, we do a lot of times talk about our prime supporter, which is Lake Elmo baseball, right?
Yep.
But they do use a majority of our fields that are set up for them, right? So I think you will have the Chippewa Valley area probably move right in for those fields that are available. If there is another complex or if there are fields that are open up, I think you'll also have, we talked about the softball leagues. I know they use Ridge Park once in a while for practice, but I think you'll see that population start to grow in as well if there's additional fields available.
So I'll ask the other question goes along with, there's no timeline for the new park.
So they will be looking at more design and more like avenue of that schedule come this fall.
This fall.
So, yep.
Okay. Other questions on putting a shelter pavilion in Lions Park?
How often are the sand volleyball, is that used fairly frequently?
It is. Yep.
Okay.
So we do have a number of reservations throughout the year
Okay.
that reserve it on certain nights of the week. But we also have even with the Kokoro, that's the indoor stuff, they do trainings and things like that in the summer where they'll take them over there. So definitely in the summer, daytime hours it gets used as well.
Because that's just a nice, it seems like it's gonna be pretty tight to figure out how to get a shelter
Yeah.
in there,
Yeah, different.
or pavilion.
So, I think if the recommendation is made, I think we'll bring back some different designs and proposals, probably unlike what we probably already have to make it fit.
Would you foresee any conflict with the space if they're, like, especially depending on the positioning that you might be thinking of for a shelter? If the ball field and the concession stand were rented out and being used at the same time that a pavilion was being rented out?
Do you think conflict? Is
Yeah,
that-
would that, do you feel like you would have to be like, oh, well, we won't reserve the pavilion, or?
Not sure.
Okay.
I mean, when there are ball games down there, there are a lot of people, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I think it'll be used regardless if it's baseball teams forming over there just for shelter, or if it's, your husband's wife and kids, using the playground. I think it'll definitely get used, or whether or not that conflict comes into play, I guess time will
Kind
tell.
of see how
Yeah.
it goes. if you
And the idea
go.
would be this would be reservable, right, under our policy?
Would be or wouldn't be?
Would be,
Could be, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Could be.
Lions Park is reservable, so,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm taking that as a would be.
yeah.
Maybe.
Other questions? Then we're looking for, if we look at the recommendation, we're looking for a motion of some sort.
Well, I'll make a motion to recommend staff seek proposals for a shade structure at Lions Park for installation in 2026.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion on the motion.
Seems to make sense to me. That's a hot spot. That's a pretty busy park, and there's just not shade, and I think it would get used.
I would agree with that. I would have a tendency, because of the other shelter, to provide justification more to the other amenities. So putting it towards that side, which is probably the only place it'll fit, but gear it more towards the playground, the pickleball, and those types of things. Any other questions?
If you, sorry, if you created a shaded playground, would you position the pavilion more closely to the volleyball and pickleball courts so it's more like evenly dispersed with the shade?
Yeah, we are, property lines on the backside of the volleyball courts are pretty tight. So we would probably likely incorporate it to the north, or probably towards the playground and, pickleball courts, to utilize that space, because if we start hitting that boundary a little too close, that's probably our biggest downfall on that side of the, and just in between that back of the ball field and the pickleball courts, just the slope there probably isn't gonna work. So, our best bet is gonna be to that north side, so,
Plus the big bats.
yeah.
You don't want a ball hitting the thing. Good question. Other comments on the motion? All right. Going to vote on the motion to recommend staff seek proposals for a shade structure at Lions Park for installation in 2026. All in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay. Now we're off to Lions Park playground replacement.
Thank you. Lions Park Playground was installed in 2000 and currently has surpassed its lifespan that was slated for 25 years. It's currently in our CIP for next year as well, that we discussed back in June, actually May and June of 2025. Survey results from our Parks Master Plan in 2024 showed that 58% of those surveyed visited Lions Park. Lions Park is also listed as the #1 park most often visited by users. Survey results also showed that playground use was the second most common activity used for that park, right behind our baseball, right? The playground currently consists of a large play set and swing. Over the years, several repairs have been made to correct broken and missing parts. The largest safety concern is the level of drop between the slides and the surface. So that's our mulch or our surfacing, right? So just over time, with the shiftness of our underlayments as well, but just as the mulch gets moved, as the mulch starts to deteriorate, we begin to get a larger drop from the end of our slides to our surface area. So we try to mulch, or try to put additional mulch in there about every 2 to 3 years, but also try to mound those up in those play areas too, just to limit that. But over time, it does begin to decay away. So the issue before the Parks Commission tonight is, does the Parks Commission agree with the proposed outline for Lions Park playground set and replacement, or is there any additional things that you'd like to have at the playground set going forward? Lions Park is being considered for a number of possible upgrades in the next 2 years. Staff is suggesting replacing the existing playground set and implementing a play set for the ages of 5 to 12-year-olds with additional teenage features within the play area. The park layout, conveniently situated near the south parking lot, makes access ideal from the asphalt trail and the parking lot. The playground will retain additional concepts like swings, slides at the climbing structure, including, while adding an ADA access to better accommodate children with mobility challenges. So again, that parking lot we're looking to pave, that'll be a flat surface that we can just initiate a park or a trail right along their pickleball courts, right over to our concession stand. That'll make easy access for ADA accessible right onto our concrete curb and into our playground set. In our previous discussion, we'd recommend removal of the merry-go-round and the fountain. And I think there's currently a bench that sits in there, which is currently in a green space area. That would allow that area to open up for our future shade structure. We're also recommending, again, safety chips within that play area. Poured-in-place surfacing is available. You know, however, there is a cost to that. It's $30 to $60 a square foot. So just talking with a couple of contractors already, there's a couple different ways of doing it. You can do the whole thing, otherwise you can just do it in those heavily used areas, like we said, underneath those slides, underneath your swings where a lot of that stuff gets pushed away. That's where you're gonna see the higher price of that $60, when they're just doing the certain areas. They do like a pyramid over it, but it's a wide area still, but it's a pyramid type surface where the mulch would just meet up against it. So still not movable, but still ideal for those heavily trafficked areas. As far as our financial impact with it, we, in our 2026 to the 2035 capital improvement plan, the playground set is funded through the Parks Dedication Fund, and we have set aside $300,000 for the playground replacement, so. As I noted before, if you have additional criteria that would like to see in our playground set, off of what I've already discussed, I'll definitely incorporate that into that with our contractors and see if they can implement some of that. Again, just a reminder, when we do talk about those age differences, we do need to separate those age differences within that playground set as well. So having a toddler set does need to have some distance requirements from that 5 to 12-year-old, and anything above that 12-year-old needs to have distance requirements as well. As I noted before, we are trying to stay within that shell as much as we can. We are able to cut that cement and re-pour additional cement, but with that comes additional costs as well. So, and again, with space, we are limited as we push closer to that parking lot. We can only put so many ballards or rocks or things like that to eliminate traffic from accidentally or causing harm to towards that playground as well. Standards for playgrounds does initiate a distance contact from a parking lot to that as well that we have to keep in mind. So, and again, a lot of that I leave up to that contractor who presents that. So, okay. With that, I'll turn it back over to the commissioners.
Yeah, just one thing for the newer commissioners is this is part of an ongoing program that we've had for a few years, where we were behind on our playground replacements, and we now have a table of, they roughly all last about 20 years, but we were going through and evaluating those over time, but this is part of that. So, questions for Adam on this?
I have a question, Adam. You mentioned removing the fountain, and I know that the fountain has been off for a long time. Is that because of the logistics of having a working fountain, or is it because of other health and safety reasons potentially, or convenience?
I think it's health and safety reasons as well as the condition of that water fountain too.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
since I've been here, it has not been operational
okay.
because of leaks and things like that. The last time it's been used, and I haven't asked that question, but I know in my time it has not been used.
Okay.
Future use of that would be to run, if we did take that out, is to run that service line closer to the pickleball courts,
Mm-hmm.
to use that for our ice skating rink. Because right now, we drag water
Got it.
from a hydrant that's closer to the road all the way up there, but we'd use that as a service line for water for our ice rink.
Okay.
Not only to ice that, but also to bring back potentially our pleasure rink as well.
Okay, nice.
Adam, does that 300,000, would that include any of the surfacing, whether it's mulch or whatever we would decide? Or any accessories? I know if we do the pavilion, but I think there was one bench there. You know, would we add a bench within the playground? Does it include any, or the rocking that you talked about to separate the parking lot and the playground? Would that be included in this 300?
So, when we do a CIP item, that's just the project cost, right? So, if your request is we need to have a minimum of 5 benches, I let our contractor know that we'd like to have a minimum of 5 in there. So however you wanna, so itemize those items, that's what we try to implement in there. So, but a lot of times, I always say a minimum of at least 2 benches in there. That's kind of our standard through our last few, I think we've done.
And then we've had like individual pricing, so we could make a few adjustments on an extra bench or an extra whatever.
Yeah. I think we went through that discussion, I think maybe in Clace, when we were looking at some fitness equipment and things like that.
Right.
It's like, hey, let's get rid of this and maybe just add another bench or, things like that, so.
Is there a way, when you talk to vendors, I know that the port in place is very expensive, and I wouldn't maybe recommend that for the whole thing, but I would be interested in knowing what certain areas would cost. It might really reduce the play features that we get, but if that's the #1 park used, by the time you mulch it over and over again, you're just,
Yeah.
I would just be, as an alternate or something of that sort, just to see what that might be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you're gonna see it under, probably swings, under the ends
Right.
of slides.
Yeah,
Just
but
depending on how many
have
slides.
both options, presented by the people who are doing the proposals. Maybe 3, I don't know, whatever. Other questions? All right, hearing no questions, I could use a motion.
I just make one comment quick.
Yeah.
When we talk about our age requirements or like our age of our playgrounds, I think one of the biggest things that, as commissioners, that I think 3 or 4 of us that we have talked with over the years is just having that age requirement. How do we interest those above that 12, 13 to 17? And not to push people away from the playground and make it more, one side or anything like that. But just, I think there are activities within a playground set, if it's pull-up bars or push-up things that we can implement in there that still range in that 5 to 12-year-old, that I would still push to have in there. I don't know what your guys' comments are with that, but, because we do have, if it's baseball teams there or other people using that, we do have a wide range of children.
This
that
is
come
one
in.
where there is a wide range of children, because, the little brother, the little sister are going to play at it because, the brother or the sister is playing baseball, the older one. And yet, I've seen a lot of times when the team that's not playing is on the playground equipment. So that would be older kids. So, yeah, it's gonna be a fairly wide range, in my opinion, of people who would use that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think I'm open to like really, really challenging, I think, our designers, and utilizing maybe some more interactive things some new items that they're putting out on the market.
We've put a few elements in the latest
Yeah.
couple they've put in that kind of span that, but yeah, it's gonna be a fairly wide
Yeah.
group on that. All right, again, we're looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to move to direct city staff to gather proposals to update the playset at Lions Park using the recommendations provided.
Do I get a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion on this?
I guess, thanks for explaining about the water fountain, and it's interesting to know that you've never seen it operational. I feel like, whenever I'm there at Lions Park, it feels like water would be a great amenity. And I've seen at other parks, maybe even like a bottle filling station with all of the sports there, coupled with the lack of shade. And, you know, I see folks walking their dogs around town and things like that. And, you know, if there could be a way to get some water, I think that could be a real benefit to that park.
Or added to the other pavilion, you know, there's a lot of things at play here. The other pavilion,
Yeah.
if we redo that one, there might be there. One more question I had on this. So what year are we talking about on this?
This would be 2026.
2026. Other questions on the motion?
Questions or discussion?
Discussions, opinions,
Okay.
objections,
Yeah,
whatever you
I'll
want to
just add
say.
one quick thing, just based off the
Then we keep
passes.
going on the
I
questions.
bring this up now so that we can make those plannings, so that we can begin construction probably early April, May, right? To streamline this, so we don't end up like Pebble Park.
Okay.
Where we're pushing snowflakes to get it done, so.
I would agree about the water. I know there's a lot of variables to get water there, but that does seem like a park that could benefit from water access. I also, the idea of, the recommendation about having equipment for teens or older than 12, definitely. And also the idea of swings, available for toddlers or even either play equipment for toddlers would be something I would be interested in. But swings at a minimum. Swings are always something you can, if there's a toddler swing, you can put a kid in there and their brothers and sisters can play on the 5 to 12-year-old area.
I really support this because, again, I think there's already listed the safety issues. You can tell from a distance that it needs to be upgraded, and the water sounds good, but it might work out better in the other pavilion. They need water out there. And the same thing about I agree with the range of age, and we're gonna need to put some things on that. I like we've got the ADA compliance. I like we're gonna pave that parking lot, so all of that, I think, is a good idea. Other comments, questions, opinions on the motion?
Just one, on the chair, on the ADA, do we ever do any adaptive swings in any of our parks?
We do.
Okay,
Yep.
so that might be something to include as well, as a possible to look at.
And I agree with that because the one that we really use, which is the Lake Elmo Elementary School, is going to go away, although they've told us they're going to rebuild it. But it's good that we bring those types of things into our parks too. All right.
I'm a big fan of reusing that concrete border. Looks like it's in really nice condition.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? If not, I think we're ready to vote. All of those in favor of moving to direct the city staff to gather proposals updating the playset at Lions Park using the recommendations provided, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None heard. Okay, next on the agenda is stargazing event here in 2025, and at some point, we might have Verdi Davis right there talk about this too, so how are we gonna do this? Talk. Identify
I'll start
yourself.
off.
He'll start and you then go. Okay, it's fine, I don't know how you're gonna do it.
Thank you. Since 2017, the Sally Manzera Center has been providing programming Verity Davis. She is with us here tonight. She's a program manager there. They've been providing programming include buckthorn removal, bees, nature, a number of programs there for not only our children, but also our adults. As proposed last year, there was a stargazing event. I'll have Verity talk a little bit more about that. But tonight's the issue before us tonight is there are timelines to our parks, and that's why we're here to discuss this and not only get some feedback from Verity as well. But would the Parks Commission be, would the Parks Commission consider recommending the Sally Manzaro Center to hold the stargazing event on October 11th? This does go beyond our open times for our park. Our normal hours are till dusk, and this event will be starting likely later after that. So with that, I'll turn this over to Verity for the discussion.
And state your name and address right on the back.
Verity Davis, and I don't know what the address is for the Sally Manzaro Interpretive Nature Center, Sunfish Park. Thank you for your time tonight. Last year, we did a little stargazing event and came and asked for permission. We appreciated that. We ended up cutting off at 40 people, so it became very popular. And we did a little, fed everybody a little bit. The Minnesota Astronomical Society did a great presentation, and then we attempted to watch stars. That was a no-go last year, but everybody had a great time. It was a great program. It went really well for us. So we would love to do it again. Any questions?
I've got a quick question. Could you please just clarify what your date and your backup date is? There's like two different backup dates in here. And I just
Okay,
wanna
there,
make sure
that might have been more, but we are only doing it on October 11th.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have backup dates because we can't guarantee the backup date's gonna work either. So I just go for one, and that's why we have a presentation with the Minnesota Astronomical Society to sort of
Great.
balance the hit or miss of seeing stars out there.
Okay, thank you.
And your intention would be to limit it at 40?
Yes,
People
yeah,
again.
40 was plenty of people to feed and get out there, so. And we ended up finishing at about 9:30 or so by the time we all kind of got out of there, 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Because there's no lighting in that parking lot.
No, so we do have a light on our building that shines out to the parking lot. And then I had flashlights and offered to walk people to their cars, and they felt comfortable going out.
Other questions? If not, can I get a motion?
I move to recommend to the city council the request to extend Sunfish Lake Park hours until 10:30 PM on October 11th, 2025 to host a stargazing event.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion about this? Worked last year, it should be a good thing.
I guess the only thing I would have a concern about is the safety, just moving people in the parking lot, and as long as that can be done safely, then I'm all in favor.
Any other comments? I agree.
No, I love the programming. I think for the community, it's a great thing to do, so thank you.
Yeah, just a little thing. So the cap is 40 people, but are you guys planning for only 20 to 25, or are you planning for all 40?
We're planning for 40,
Okay.
yeah. We hope to get that again this year. I mean, I had to cut people off, so I'm hoping we'll be successful again.
Other questions? And there's no guarantee on Northern Lights either.
No, there's not. No guarantees in this one.
All right. All right, it's time to vote on the motion. All in favor of moving to recommend to the city council to request to extend the Sunfish Lake Park's hours until 10:30 PM on October 11th, 2025 to host a stargazing event, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? None opposed. Thank you for coming in, and appreciate you guys doing this. Communications, what have you got to tell us there?
Thank you. Over the last month, our park trails, we've added 3 trails within our park system, mainly to all of our playgrounds. So we have Pebble Park, DeMontreville, and Clyce. We had asphalt trails that accesses from either our parking lot or the near neighboring road right down to our new playgrounds. We had a contractor come in to do those. So those are all completed with new seating and blankets that was set alongside those trails.
And that was Pebble, and which other ones?
Pebble, DeMontreville,
Montreville.
and Clyce.
Thank you.
Last week, staff has begun some more construction in our Shilkins Park area. We put up our sign as well as prepped our trail that will go in between the 2 homes right at the end of, right at Knightsbridge and 39th. So we'll continue to put in, we have our bike racks, our kiosks, as well as our mapping that will go in there yet. So staff's continuing to work on that as
And there was a
well.
bench too, wasn't there a
Yep, there's
bench?
several benches throughout and picnic tables, yep. Over the next, so mowing has begun in there as well. We've gone through most of our trails just with our mowing. That includes up in Devonshire Wildlife, as well as Shilkins, Clyce, Pebble, and Reed as well. Along with trail mowing, we continued our trail mowing not only along our parks, but also our nature trails and our asphalt trails throughout the community. Reed Park, we're beginning to talk with our community members there to do our survey, Reed Park, we began to talk with our contractor in regards to redoing that parking lot. So beginning in August, we'll be working with our contractor face to face as we redo that parking lot and expand that to the east there as well. So we have notified our baseball program. There's kind of some downtime there in August, so it was a great time to incorporate that in there before that fall ball starts, about September when school starts. So Ridge Park, we have begun to talk with our HOAs in that area as we begin to put together a plan for that park in the next few years, potentially in some phases, right? We do have the playground replacement coming up with that park in 2026. So we are putting together a plan where we work with just a short survey for the HOAs over there to go through so we kind of have a better idea and some better information to provide you as well to gather some feedback, what that park can be.
We had talked about it last winter or whatever.
Yep. So,
So you're gonna talk to them about the paving and some other things that we've.
yes, maybe potential some parking lot, expansion there where we want,
Okay.
the playground in general, and maybe some other amenities there. So.
Right.
As a reminder, our park service level, we talked about that at our last meeting in May that we had notes for. If you haven't provided me what you'd like that park service level to be, I have received that from some of you. Just a reminder on that, that was just as we get in that further discussion of that parks manager or that parks supervisor position, we're just looking for that list from commissioners of what you'd like to see that role do as a near future for that position. So we will come back and as a workshop and work with city council on that topic as well. And that would be in
Again,
September.
for new commissioners, as the 2024 strategic plan for parks and trails, the number one recommendation out of that was to hire a parks lead director or whatever, and this is following up on it. What would that person do, what it would look like, those types of things. So if you do have input, provide that to Adam.
And again, just a reminder on that, we will go to a workshop with city council in September to review that as well. As we continue, unless you're not in favor, I'd like to continue to do our park walkthrough and choose our next park. My initial plan was DeMontre Wildlife, however, in the middle of July, it's probably not the best one, unless somebody has a different recommendation right now.
Well, what's coming up after Ridge, or what's next on the playgrounds?
It'd be Tablin, but we've already,
We've already talked about Tablin. talk Carriage Station, I guess.
Otherwise, we could go to Hidden Knoll.
Hidden Knoll or Carriage Station, we haven't been up in that cold quadrant.
When is Carriage Station? I feel like the playground equipment there is pretty new, am I mistaken?
Carriage Station is fairly new. Yep.
Okay,
Really,
That's
yeah.
right along Manning.
yep, yep.
Before you hit Oak Park Heights.
But Hidden Knoll is newer,
Yeah,
so,
let's do both.
well, let's look at Legion Avenue, North Park.
Oh, we
Talk
can't
about
get there.
bugs. All right, either one of those two, I think would,
Let's
well,
do-
yeah, either one of those two would be fine, yes.
Do
Unless
Carriage
there's-
Station then.
Yeah.
So again, with our park review, a lot of times I just ask the commissioners to take a day or take some time out of their schedules to just walk through, present some ideas. You know, as we look, many times we're looking at these parks as future upgrades or future playground replacements and things like that, but just keep an open mind of potential amenities that we're gonna do there. Just a reminder at Carriage, if we go through that one, we will be redoing the asphalt surface or redoing the surface layer on the basketball court as well coming up in next year. So, that's all I have.
Any communication from commissioners? Just a reminder, I'm not here next month. You know that. Anything else?
On the topic of bugs, I went through Cleats Park because it's pretty close to my house, and I like how they brought it out of the shade a little bit, so there are no bugs. So thank you guys for that.
Yeah, the placement of that I thought was better, but, and yet it's still, that little knoll back in there, it's within, you know, being close to that too, so it's good. Thank you. Anything else? If not, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? We are hereby adjourned.